Hello, Gary Occhino here. I am super pumped for you and excited. Thank you for taking the initiative to get better at golf, and you are going to learn Samurai Swing Power today. It's very important to know that today you're going to learn techniques. You'll learn what to do with your setup, what to do with your arms and hands during the swing, and what to do with your body. We have some special moves here that you're only going to find here, as I promise, and I'm very excited for you. As I mentioned, it's important to know that there's more than just technique here. You need to know two things that are extremely critical toward your improvement. The first one is that you need to practice for 1 minute a day minimum. You need to take the techniques and drills that you like and pick up the club each day and practice them. This does not require a golf ball. Just get out there, make the movements with the club. That is very key. That is how we learn. It's how our brain learns. It's how our neurophysiology works, or maybe a more simple way to say that, our mind-body connection. That's how it works. So 1 minute a day, please. And then also try to hit balls when you can. The second thing is to understand that there is a thinking zone and a playing zone. You'll hear me allude to this throughout our time here today, but we want to do our thinking away from the ball. When you get over the ball, it's your time to play. We want to have a clear mind, do our thinking away, and our playing over. Those are my two asks to go along with the fun part, which is the technique. So let's have a little fun now. Let's show you the techniques that you need for Samurai Swing Power. Thank you. First, we're going to show you the proper setup for an iron or fairway shots. Then we'll show you the proper setup for the driver if you're going to have swing power. For your iron, I have a 6-iron in my hand, and this is going to apply to all irons, hybrids, and fairway swings. It's the same throughout. So again, we're not talking short game, we're talking full swing. We're trying to hit it far. All this will apply. What we're going to do is we're going to position the golf ball in line with the logo of the shirt. In my case, as a right-handed golfer, your left chest. We are going to have our feet flared out. By flared out, I mean this is having straight or square feet. We do not want that. We want our feet flared out at least 20 degrees each foot, if not more. Foot flare is incredibly important for your power because it helps you turn and rotate freely. There's no limitations that come from your knees and your hips on the way back, so you get lots of coil or wind up. And then on the way through, it allows you to get your weight shifted and forward. We're going to talk a lot about that later. But the foot flare, again, makes it so there's no limitations. We don't want you limited. We want you free and big and able to swing that golf club today to create speed, energy, and power. So far we have ball right here on the logo. We have foot flare. My feet are turned out like a duck. That's very important. Bad, good, real important. And then from there, we're going to take our posture such that we bow first and then bend our knees gently second. We're not going to just take and sit in our legs. That leads to coming up very problematic. So we're going to bow first from the waist as if I did something well. I'm bowing over the club. Then I'm going to flex my left leg a fraction more than my right. Okay, I have my left leg bent a little more than my right. This is going to allow me to turn or wind up freely. So one last time, we're going to have the ball even with the left chest. We're going to have our feet turned out, so our toes are spread out like that. That's called foot flare. And then we're going to bow from the waist, bending the left leg a little more than the right, and the hands will lie down comfortably so there is angle coming up from the club shaft to the arms. We don't want to be like that, where we're all straight. This would be wrong. We want to have some angle where the hands hang comfortably. That's going to be your iron setup for power. For your driver setup, pretty much everything's the same, except we are going to change the golf ball position. It's going to be more forward. By more forward, we mean toward the target, and the ball's on a tee. We're going to cover how high to tee it and why. So the first order of business is we are putting the ball in line with the armpit here, the left armpit. or actually as far up as the shoulder. Now I know many of you are already saying, well, you know, I usually play the ball back farther for my irons and back farther for my driver. Yes, that's the point. We're getting you power and we're giving you new information that works. So for the irons, it's here on the logo. If not, like maybe the inside of the logo we'll be okay with. For the driver though, we're pushing this guy forward. We're getting it in the armpit, if not the shoulder. So let's get that ball forward. And then as far as tee height, I want to see a minimum of half the ball above the top of the driver at minimum. So the equator of the ball is on the top of the driver, if not more like 3/4 of the ball. I'd like to see about half to 3/4 of the ball at top of the driver. We want to, one of the whole points today to launch this driver is we want to not be hitting down at the ball. You know, if you look at PGA Tour launch angles, which we'll get into a little more down the road, but they are hitting level at the ball, maybe just like just a smidge down or a smidge up, but it's pretty much level, where most amateurs are hitting 4 and 5 degrees down at the ball. That's far too much. So we want the tee a little higher, we want the ball forward, and that is going to help us get into it on more of a level or upward blow compared to where you were. Alright, so in summary for your driver, what we're going to do is we have the ball on the armpit or the shoulder, that area. We have the tee at least so that the ball is, the midline of the ball's equal to the top of the club or higher than that. And then we're going to do the same thing. Postures taken from a bow from the waist first, knee bend slightly with the left a little more bent than the right. And then our arms are going to hang comfortably and extended. You'll notice now my head is about 6 inches or so behind the ball. It's in line with the back of the club head at least. And my breastbone is tilted slightly away from the target. So with the iron, I'm pretty much straight up and down. In this case, I'm tilted slightly away, just a couple degrees, like that. That helps you launch the ball up in the air. That is your driver set up, start to finish. Now we're going to show you the proper body pivot for your backswing. In other words, how to make your body turn or open up to swing correctly to create the right potential energy or stored up power. There's a huge myth in how to swing the club back that we have to get rid of that you probably have heard before. And that myth is to use your left side to take the club away or to extend your left arm. Many people tell me they want to keep their left arm straight going back. And what that typically does, if you think about your left arm or your lead arm, is it makes it so that you end up getting off center. You'll notice my head and my breastbone have drifted to the right away from where the ball was, and now I'm in a position where I'm not going to hit the ball solidly. So a much better way to do this is to do what I call the compass drill. We want to think about opening up the right side of our body. In this case, I'm a right-handed golfer. The right shoulder and hip, we want to open those up as opposed to trying to extend the left. You're going to get much more rotation this way. So think of a math compass, the kind where you stick a point in the ground or into like the paper, and then it opens up with degrees of rotation. This club is going to be that point. I'm going to stick it in the ground like this, and then I'm going to practice opening up the right side of my body. You'll see how much rotation I'm getting by opening up my right shoulder and my right hip. I want to be free and I want to rotate fully. It looks much different than this, where I'm trying to reach back with my left side. Open up the degrees of rotation. Now, if you look at me, you'll see that my right leg has grown. It's getting longer. One of the keys to power is to let your right side grow or get longer. The hip will feel like it's stretching or going up or extending. This is good. This is because golf is played on a tilted axis. Once you take your bow, you don't turn level. Once you bow, you turn level to your spine. If I'm turning level to my spine, that means my left side should be lower than my right. You'll notice my left knee is lower than my right knee. My left hip is lower than my right hip. And my left shoulder is lower than my right shoulder. This is all normal. So let yourself open up and let your right leg grow. For those of you that are trying to keep your right knee flexed, please stop. I'm not saying it needs to straighten up and lock up. I'm just saying that let it naturally grow. So again, the hip, knee, hip, and shoulder are going to open in a natural sense via the compass drill. Let it happen. Now we're going to show you a couple of concepts that are going to help you with your swing path. We need to have an inside swing path to be able to hit the ball farther. It's going to help us launch it far when we use the driver. I'm going to show you first with an iron and then with a driver some slight variations of how you can do this drill. An inside swing path is basically defined as this is my target line where this orange dowel rod is, this orange stick. An inside swing path is defined as a path that comes into the golf ball from inside or closer to me than that stick. This is an outside path right here. People that leak power very much come from the outside in, across the ball, and then once they come across the ball, their arms crinkle up their chest. I call it dinosaur arms. You look like one of those old Tyrannosaurus Rexes where your arms are all small and you're ready to eat. Well, it's not good for golf. So we want to have an inside swing path coming into the ball. We want the club coming in right by our right leg so that it comes inside this stick right here. So we can just literally practice with a dowel rod or a noodle. A swimming noodle is really good because it has some slight curvature to it. And practice just going like this, where you're trying to get your club coming in from near your body inside that stick. That's really important, whether it's an iron or a driver. Now I'm going to show you another drill once you start to establish this inside path with where the club needs to go next so it's not coming across your body. We just said that we want our arms to extend as they're coming into the ball. We want to have our inside path coming from in here, and then we want the arms to extend like so, as opposed to having them crinkle as they come across and up. A couple of really good drills for that are firstly to take an object like this pencil or a tee and put it 8 to 12 inches in front of the ball. At least. You could probably get by with more. And you want to have something that you can break. If it breaks, it's okay. So that's why I'm using a pencil in this case or a tee. You want to practice just doing drills where you do your opening up, you get the club coming in from the inside, and you practice feeling your arms extend over that second object. My arms are extending over the tee as opposed to coming across this way and crinkling. That's the first of the two drills. The second one, which is my personal favorite, is to take your normal setup. We said that the ball position would be about armpit or shoulder with the feet flared. Take your normal setup and actually come back this way about 8 inches. So the ball is way out in front. Now remember, this is just a drill. You won't do this on the course, but you put the ball way out in front. Now notice how I'm still facing this way, or I'm facing you. I haven't turned to the ball. I want to keep my breastbone and my buttons facing behind the club. And then actually learning how to hit this ball. You would wind up the same. You're going to think you're not going to hit it at first, and you're going to learn to extend your arms into that ball so that you get the ball way up there. If you don't do it right, you're going to miss it. Now I can tell you the first couple times you may have some bad shots, you may not do it well. That's the point to learning. Do some drills and you'll get better. So a quick review. First part of the drill is to just set up with your regular golf ball position, practice the inside path, and then getting your arms to extend over the tee or the pencil in this case. The other one is to set up normal, still facing this way, bring the club back 8 inches or so, bring you back 8 inches or so, keep facing this way, don't turn, and then practice learning how to get into that ball so your arms can extend. That's one of my favorites. We've shown you how the arms and hands create the inside path and then they extend more than you're probably getting, otherwise you wouldn't be here. The body has a very important role in the golf swing too. They do work together, but it's easier to demonstrate them and show you separately for learning purposes. So now we're going to focus on the body action. If I was playing another sport, I happen to have a softball from my kids. If I was going to play another sport and I was going to throw a softball or a football, the sequence of the body action happens from the ground up. Specifically, I step first and I connect to the ground, and then I release everything from my feet, knees, hips, shoulders, and arms. So I wind up, do this, and then throw. I'm not just using my arms only, or I'm not, pulling back this way to throw. There's a real decided concept of stepping in and releasing via the body action. Golf is the same way. It's the same as throwing or shooting a basketball, the same athletic sequence. Here is that sequence for you. When you have the club from the top of the golf swing, what you want to do from the body perspective is you want to make sure that you shift your weight first toward the target, through the golf ball. This is why it was so important to have our left foot flared out, because it allows me to get my left knee driving toward you or toward the target. I want this knee to get way out in front. I want my foot and knee to have a pressure shift. Some people call it a weight shift. That way. Very important. So you want to practice from the top going like this. You want to get that knee out as far as you can get it. That's going to help you get the energy going that way, as opposed to so many people straighten their leg first. That's bad. They get going to their back foot. Very important key, get the energy going that way via the left knee. So we're going to take it to the top. We're going to practice leaving the club and driving your left knee forward. That's the first piece to understanding the downswing.
Ready?
Now that you understand the role of the feet and knees, we're just going to show you what the hips do, and the rest is going to respond to that. You really don't have to think about your upper body or anything else. After I get myself shifting the correct way, shifting or pressure shifting again is this, getting that left knee going out in front, that starts to drive the belt buckle forward, forward meaning toward the target. From there, I want to work my belt up. Yes, I said up. So for those of you that are trying to stay down so very much, you don't need to. Those of you trying to do this and chop down at the ball, I want you working up as if you're going to thrust. That action helps the golf club come into the ball into an upward path, which helps you launch it high and far, as opposed to so many people are hitting down at it too much because they're taught, stay down, stay down, stay down. We want to work up through impact. So specifically, your belt buckle should feel like it's going forward at first, toward the target, and then working up as if you're doing a thrusting motion. Pretend that you have a leech on your stomach and you can't get it off with your arms. You can't flick at it, so you have to go like that. That's what you want to do. There's an upward motion. Now, even though I recommend getting the other products that we offer you, like Samurai Slice Fix or Samurai Hook Fix, I'm going to show you what to do if you slice or hook too much still. Here's what you do. You get the left knee going forward with the belt, as we already discussed. That action right there. Now, if you're slicing the ball still a little bit, you want to feel like your belt thrusts out to the right, out to right field. Okay, that's going to help you keep the club coming from the inside still. Then it's going to work up. If you're hooking the ball, you want to feel like you're going forward a little bit, and then your belt is going out to the left. You want lots of rotation. If you're hitting it straight, you're just going to thrust straight. So one more time for you slicers out there. You want to get the knee going forward, and then you want the belt thrusting out to the right. That's going to be your thought process. If you're hooking the golf ball, you want the knee to go forward, and you want to feel like you're thrusting more out to the left, and straight is going to be straight. That is so incredibly important. That is what the body does in the downswing sequence. Please master that away from the ball. You heard me talking about the thinking zone and playing zone. You can't be thinking about this when you're playing. You have to be over here. You have to be feeling it, practicing it, doing it for a while. At home, at the office, just don't get yourself in trouble. At the range, when you're not hitting the ball, do lots of reps away from the ball with that. Otherwise, you're going to get too much thought in your head when you're hitting. I'd like to be super clear with you on this. No matter what drill you're choosing, whether it's a downswing drill or whether it's the compass drill, it is paramount to be thinking away from the ball. I'm going to illustrate this extremely clearly for you. This orange stick right here is sort of our line of demarcation. Anything to this side of the line and anywhere else in this whole world or golf course is going to be called your thinking zone. Anywhere over here in this box is going to be called your playing zone. You are allowed to think about your swing, practice your swing, do your mechanics, do your techniques, do your drills in the thinking zone only. So if you're on the golf course, you want to actually step away from the golf ball, and let's just say you're practicing your downswing sequence. You've flared your feet out, you've wound up really well, you want to practice your downswing sequence. You're going to practice here, leaving the club, leaving your head in position, and practice your shift and your thrust. Practice it a little bit before you hit. Then you're going to walk in almost immediately and send that golf ball. That's how you should do it. You only want to spend one repetition here practicing and then get in and just go. Just hit. We're not trying to slow you down. We're rehearsing. This is so important so your brain doesn't have to think over the ball. All the practice happens before, so it just automatically takes shape when you go to hit the shot. I'd like to discuss with you what we call the lag myth. So many people are trying to create power based on what we call lag. The definition of lag to most folks out there, there are some variations, is leading with the handle in the impact. So you know that the handle comes down in front of the club head. And so many people are trying to drive that handle so much for so long that you actually hit down on the ball too much, and you do what's now starting to popularly be called handle dragging. You're dragging the handle through way too long, and it makes you hit down on it, and you actually kind of like scrape the ball as opposed to explode into it. The reason why this is wrong is because the handle does drive forward, but it happens because of your weight or pressure shift going forward. So if I'm at the top of my swing, and I just drive forward like I should, the handle stays forward. You don't have to do anything else other than get that left knee and get that weight going toward the target. That puts the handle in position. Then from there, we're working up, and that helps us drive. So the belt buckle comes up like we talked about. The left leg straightens and even snaps, if you will. Some people like that phrase. So does the handle, though. It comes up a little bit. So even though your arms are extending, your handle is coming up as opposed to you handle draggers. I know it can get a little confusing as to, well, you told me to extend my arms and now the handle's coming up, but it's just one of those things for those of you that are trying so hard to do this, you don't need to. The other thing I wanted to address, just to be extremely clear so that it's well understood, is that the left knee does want to go forward. We've established that, but it stays bent a lot longer than most people will typically tell you. So it really stays bent almost to impact just before. Then there's that straightening or upward action via the hips and the legs as you're going up. But so many people, you know, you'll watch, say, TV and you watch the PGA Tour broadcast or the event of the week, and they're all trying to tell you how you have to, you know, show two cheeks at impact. What they mean by that is show two butt cheeks right there. And they get you spinning too much. They get you pulling away, and they get you hitting it terrible. Okay, the timing of the golf swing for most amateurs is far more here than at the very end you straighten and thrust. You're not rotating as soon. I don't know why this is, but so many of the broadcasters and analysts try to tell you that all you do from the top is clear. clear, rotate, and that leads to pulling away. It leads to straightening too soon. It leads to power loss. It's the equivalent of a boxer going like this. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that. The boxer punches real well like this. That's the right action. So think about other sports, mirror other sports, try to stay away from these analysts. This is the correct sequence for power that helps you drive the ball higher with more of an upward launch than this downward launch that many people get that doesn't give them enough height, power, and swing speed. The final piece here before we give you some closing thoughts is real simple. You're going to do better with less tension than more tension. And it's okay to try to create speed. You know, so many people say, I slowed my swing down and I did better. You're not slowing your swing down. That's absolutely scientifically impossible. Slowing your swing down will not get the ball to go farther and faster. You want speed. You want swing speed. You want to get this golf swing going fast. When people say they slow their swing down, what they're really truly saying is I'm getting a better sequence. They're saying, you know, I'm feeling from the top like I'm shifting better. They just don't know how to articulate it. But actually trying to go slower will not help you. The way you want to do this is you want to lessen your tension in your arms and in your shoulders, and you want to learn how to swing this club fast before you actually hit the ball. So try to create speed. Make noise coming right through the bottom here and just after impact. That's where you want to create the most acceleration. That's going to help you. It's going to help you doing that by having less tension. It's going to help you doing that by knowing where to create the acceleration or the snap. But don't try to slow down. That's one of those myths that'll just kill everything you're trying to do. Stay loose in your mind, stay loose in your arms and shoulders, relax them, and do your practicing away from the golf ball. That's going to keep your mind relaxed so you can get in there and nail one. So when I actually go to hit the golf ball, it's going to look like this. I'm going to take my practice move. I'm going to practice shifting my left knee forward and getting some thrust up. And I'm going to hit this thing as far as I can, creating some speed. And that ball is hit. Still in the air, folks. Still in the air. That's how you do it. So get rid of these myths and have fun hitting it longer, higher, and straighter this way. Thank you very much for enjoying the drills and techniques of Samurai Swing Power. I very much understand how frustrating golf can be, all the tips out there, the poor information, conflicting information. This is all science-based stuff that works. So please do it. And I can't stress enough how important it is to practice away from the ball. I said earlier, you know, home, garage, in your thinking zone, away from the ball. If you're going to be grinding your mental gears over the ball, you will not have success. You're going to have mental tension and you're not truly playing the game freely. That's an important piece here. So think away from the ball. That is extremely important. The other piece is practice every day. Swing the golf club, giving your neurophysiology, or what we call your mind-body connection, the chance to form. It takes a while. It takes a minimum of 30 days. But you need to practice the drills each day. You only need a minute, maybe a couple minutes, even without the golf ball. So the same way you brush your teeth each day, get your golf club out and swing it with purposeful thought. And let yourself be free when you play. I just can't stress that enough. So we look forward to hearing great results from you. Enjoy hitting that ball longer, straighter, getting more swing speed, and having some fun with this game. Thank you.